Imagine a relationship as a resilient ship navigating through the vast ocean of life. The harbor of love, friendship, or even professional trust should be a place of safety, not a battlefield. Yet disrespect creeps in like a leak in the hull. Small at first, almost invisible, but capable of sinking everything if it's ignored. We all want to stand tall, to move through life without feeling diminished or overlooked. But disrespect, whether subtle or open, can chip away at us. The coworker who interrupts you, the partner who dismisses your voice, the so-called friend who mocks behind your back. The Stoics knew this struggle well. They lived in times of emperors, betrayal, and shifting loyalties. And yet, through philosophy, they developed an inner fortress, a way to ensure that no insult, no disrespect could ever shake their dignity. In this video, we'll uncover 10 Stoic lessons that guarantee no one will ever truly disrespect you again. These aren't empty motivational slogans. They're practical shields and strategies you can use to recognize disrespect, stand firm without losing control, and command respect wherever you go. Stay until Secret 10, because that one is the deepest, and if you miss it, you'll miss the true key to unshakable respect. 1. Compassion. In Stoicism, compassion doesn't mean softness. It doesn't mean letting others trample you. It means seeing the humanity in people clearly, without illusions, even when they fail. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He reminded himself, whenever you're about to criticize someone, ask yourself, what fault of mine resembles the one I'm about to blame? This was his way of staying grounded. Not because he excused weakness, but because he knew perspective grants strength. So why does compassion shield you from disrespect? Because compassion steadies you. Instead of flaring up at every insult, you see the source. You recognize insecurity, fear, or ignorance at work. That makes you impossible to rattle. Ironically, the person who can't be rattled becomes the one others respect. Think about it. The person who always reacts emotionally can be provoked and manipulated, but the one who observes calmly with a touch of empathy stands taller. They're the rock in the room. And sometimes, compassion is about seeing your younger self in others, like Piccolo training Gohan. At first, Piccolo was harsh, almost brutal. But over time, he realized what Gohan needed wasn't more cruelty. It was guidance, protection, and care. His compassion didn't weaken him, it deepened him. Gohan grew into a warrior because Piccolo understood both toughness and care. Compassion doesn't lower your guard, it sharpens your wisdom. It's a form of armor. People may still lash out, but your calm response disarms them. The one who can't be provoked, who responds with clarity, becomes untouchable. So practice this. The next time someone disrespects you, instead of snapping back, silently ask yourself, what's driving them? Often the answer is weakness on their part, not yours. That realization is your shield. Compassion, then, is not weakness. It's strength disguised as patience. It makes you harder to provoke, harder to manipulate, and paradoxically, far more respected. 2. Right speech. Words are power. Every relationship you have is either strengthened or poisoned by what comes out of your mouth. The Stoics taught that controlling speech is one of the most powerful forms of self-control. Right speech has 4 parts: truth, kindness, usefulness, and silence. First, truth. Lies corrode respect faster than anything. If people discover your words don't align with reality, they stop listening. And once trust is lost, so is respect. That's why Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it's not true, don't say it. The person who consistently speaks truth builds a reputation that no one can tarnish. Second, kindness. Stoicism doesn't mean being cold. It means being deliberate. A kind word can dissolve tension where anger would escalate it. Think of the leader who could humiliate his team for mistakes, but instead uses calm feedback. His words correct without cutting, and for that, he earns lasting respect. Third, usefulness. Words should build, not scatter. Seneca said, "What is the use of useless chatter?" Speaking only when it adds value ensures that when you talk, people listen. The person who speaks constantly is ignored. The one who speaks with weight is respected. Fourth, silence. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. In fact, silence is sometimes the loudest message you can send. The man who doesn't rise to every insult, who lets his composure speak for him, holds more authority than the one who blurts out every thought. Imagine you're insulted in public. One person reacts instantly, shouting back. The other pauses, looks calmly at the aggressor, and chooses not to waste breath. Who seems more powerful? The calm one. Because silence isn't retreat, it's control. So practice this. Before you speak, ask, is it true? Is it kind? Is it useful? And if not, hold your tongue. Over time, your voice will become rare, measured, and respected. That's the power of right speech. It shields you from disrespect because your words build credibility and your silence builds mystery. Together, they command authority without force. 3. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being present, but in Stoicism, it's more than just breathing exercises. It's the ability to stand steady while everyone else is swept away by emotions. Why does this matter for respect? Because the person who loses themselves in anger or anxiety is easy to control. But the one who is mindful, rooted in the present moment, can't be dominated. Picture this. You're in a heated meeting. Someone unfairly blames you. Your heart races. You want to snap back. But mindfulness catches you. You take a breath, center yourself, and speak with clarity instead of rage. Instantly, you appear stronger. Not because you avoided conflict, but because you controlled it. Marcus Aurelius practiced mindfulness every morning. He reminded himself of the day ahead, that he would meet arrogance, selfishness, and ignorance. Why? Because expecting difficulty makes you calm when it comes. Mindfulness is preparation. And mindfulness isn't just about handling others, it's about handling yourself. Think about athletes in battle or competition. The one who panics loses. The one who stays in the moment wins. Goku entering Ultra Instinct is the perfect analogy. No hesitation, no wasted motion, just presence. Practicing mindfulness through meditation, journaling, or even daily reflection trains this state of clarity. Over time, it becomes your natural posture, and people notice. They see you as the calm in the storm, the one who doesn't break under pressure. That's why mindfulness earns respect, because most people can't control themselves. When you can, you stand apart. 4. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the hardest Stoic lessons, but also one of the most liberating. We've all been betrayed. A friend who let you down, a partner who broke trust, a colleague who backstabbed you. The natural response is anger, bitterness, even revenge. But here's the paradox. By holding on to that bitterness, you let them control you twice. Once when they hurt you, and again every day you replay it. Forgiveness in Stoicism isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of it. Epictetus said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." By choosing forgiveness, you choose freedom. Think of Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison treated with cruelty. Yet when released, he chose reconciliation, not revenge. That decision gave him moral authority greater than any of his oppressors. Forgiveness didn't make him weak, it made him untouchable. And sometimes forgiveness is about forgiving yourself. We all make mistakes. But if you endlessly punish yourself, you stay trapped in the past. Self-forgiveness is the only way to grow forward. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean you allow repeat offenses. You can forgive someone and still set boundaries. In fact, boundaries make forgiveness cleaner. You let go of the hate, but you don't open the door to further disrespect. So ask yourself, what grudges are you still carrying, and who really suffers from that weight, them or you? Forgiveness lightens your load, restores your calm, and ironically, makes you harder to disrespect, because the person who forgives is the one who refuses to be chained by another's actions. 5. Non-attachment. Non-attachment is one of the most misunderstood Stoic lessons. People think it means not caring, but in truth it means caring wisely, about what's within your control, and not clinging to what isn't. Seneca said, "He who needs riches least enjoys riches most." Why? Because attachment breeds fear. If your worth depends on money, status, or the approval of others, then anyone can take your power by threatening those things. But when you free yourself from needing them, you become untouchable. Imagine pouring all your effort into a project. If you're attached only to the outcome, failure crushes you. But if you're attached to the effort, the discipline, the growth, the honor of giving your best, then no outcome can rob you of dignity. Non-attachment also protects you from manipulation. Think of someone trying to bait you with insults. If you're attached to their opinion, you'll react. But if you're free from it, you remain calm, and they lose their power. This is why Stoics often lived simply, even when wealthy. They practiced letting go, fasting, sleeping on the floor, reminding themselves that true strength comes from within, not possessions. And here's the key: non-attachment isn't withdrawal. It's clarity. It means you engage fully with life but without chains. You love deeply but without clinging. You pursue goals but without desperation. That freedom makes you stronger, calmer, and infinitely more respected. So remember, the more you cling, the more vulnerable you are. The more you let go, the harder you are to shake. 6. Humility. Humility is one of the rarest traits in a world that constantly tells us to shout, boast, and prove ourselves. But in Stoicism, humility is not about shrinking yourself or pretending to be less than you are. It is about seeing reality clearly, your strengths, your flaws, and your place in the bigger picture. Seneca reminded us, if you would not be forgotten as soon as you are dead, either write things worth reading or do things worth writing. Notice how he doesn't say to boast about them. Humility means you let your actions carry the weight, not your noise. When we live without humility, we fall into arrogance. Arrogance blinds us. It keeps us from learning. It pushes people away. And worst of all, it makes us fragile. Because the moment someone challenges our pride, we collapse. Think of Vegeta in the Saiyan saga. His arrogance made him powerful, but it also made him brittle. He couldn't imagine losing, and when he did, it broke him. Only when Vegeta began to temper his pride with humility, acknowledging Goku's strength, acknowledging his own limits, did he begin to grow. Humility doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less. It's about shifting your focus outward, learning from others, giving credit, and being willing to be corrected. Ironically, humble people gain more respect because they're not desperate for it. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened to someone without planning your response? When was the last time you admitted, "I was wrong," without shame? That is the practice of humility, and it's one of the surest shields against disrespect. People cannot easily tear down someone who owns their limits and stands steady in truth. Room 7. Patience. Patience is the slow-burning power of Stoicism, the strength to endure without breaking, to wait without giving up. In our world of instant gratification, patience has almost become a lost art, but the Stoics knew it was essential. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that nature takes its time. The fruit grows, the seasons change, and the universe moves at its own pace. Why then should we demand that everything bend instantly to our will? Without patience, we lash out, we force things, we make sloppy choices. With patience, we hold the line. We give time for the truth to reveal itself. Think of Goku training for years to master Super Saiyan transformations. Think of him in the hyperbolic time chamber, where impatience could easily destroy his mind. It wasn't raw power that let him endure. It was patience. The willingness to suffer repetition, the willingness to wait for breakthroughs instead of forcing them. In real life, patience is what lets us survive disrespect without being consumed by it. Someone insults you at work, someone cuts you down. The impatient response is to react immediately. The Stoic response is to pause, to see clearly, and then choose wisely. Patience doesn't mean passivity. It means holding enough space to respond with strength instead of weakness. When was the last time your impatience made a situation worse? Now imagine what would have happened if you had simply waited, breathed, and acted later. That is patience in action. 8. Kindness. Kindness is often dismissed as weakness, but Stoicism shows us it's actually one of the greatest forms of strength. Why? Because kindness requires discipline. It requires you to rise above your impulses, your grudges, your pride, and instead act from virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That's kindness in its highest form. It doesn't mean tolerating abuse or letting people walk over you. It means refusing to mirror ugliness, refusing to let someone else's cruelty turn you cruel. Kindness has ripple effects. A gentle word at the right moment can diffuse a conflict. A simple act of care can make someone rethink their path. Even when kindness doesn't work on the other person, it always works on you. It preserves your integrity, your peace, and your respect. Think of Gohan, not just his power, but his heart. Time and time again, Gohan's kindness became his hidden strength. He believed in people when others had written them off. Even when it didn't always change the outcome, his kindness kept him grounded in who he truly was. In your own life, how often do you default to defensiveness instead of kindness? How often do you let your frustration decide your tone? Try this. The next time someone annoys you, answer with unexpected kindness. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. 9. Gratitude. Gratitude is the anchor of respect. A person who constantly complains, constantly focuses on what's missing, invites disrespect. Why? Because they radiate lack. They show the world they are empty, always needing, never content. But a grateful person commands respect without asking. Their very presence says, I see the value in what I already have. I am not desperate. I am full. Epictetus taught that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Gratitude flips the script of life. Instead of asking, why don't I have more? It asks, what have I already been given? This doesn't mean settling. It means recognizing that without gratitude, no success will ever be enough. And with gratitude, even the smallest moments can feel abundant. Think of the warriors in Dragon Ball after their battles. The strongest moments weren't always the fights, but the aftermath. Eating together, laughing, appreciating life between wars. Gratitude gave meaning to their struggle. In your own life, gratitude is your secret shield. The coworker who tries to belittle you, gratitude keeps you from buying into their scarcity mindset. The family member who criticizes you, gratitude reminds you of the people who do support you. Gratitude makes you untouchable because no one can take away what you've already learned to cherish. Tonight, try this. Write down 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small. Do it for a week. Watch how it shifts not only your mood, but also how people treat you. Respect begins with the energy you bring, and gratitude changes everything. 10. Self-reflection. The final key to ensuring no one disrespects you again is self-reflection. Because no matter how much philosophy you read, no matter how many strategies you know, if you don't take time to look honestly in the mirror, you'll miss the most important truth. Sometimes the source of disrespect is you. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But none of them can harm me. Notice what he's doing here. He is preparing himself through reflection. He isn't blaming the world. He's looking inward, reminding himself what he can and cannot control. Self-reflection means reviewing your actions daily, asking yourself, did I live according to my values today? Did I act with integrity? Did I let anger or pride lead me astray? Without this practice, we risk becoming the very people we despise. And here's the secret. People respect those who clearly respect themselves. Self-reflection is how you build that. It's not about perfection. It's about honesty. When you are honest with yourself, others see it. They may not always like you, but they will respect you. Think of Piccolo again. He began as a villain, but through self-reflection, through recognizing his own faults, he transformed. Not instantly, not easily, but steadily. His growth made him not only powerful, but deeply respected. Ask yourself, if someone followed you around for 24 hours, would they see a person worthy of respect? Or would they see contradictions, double standards, and weakness? The good news is, you get to decide. Through daily reflection, you write your own story. Conclusion. So no one will ever disrespect you again? That's not a promise Stoicism makes. People will still be cruel, petty, or careless. But here's what Stoicism does guarantee. When you live by these 10 lessons, compassion, right speech, mindfulness, forgiveness, non-attachment, humility, patience, kindness, gratitude, and self-reflection, you become unshakable. Respect will not be something you chase. It will be something you radiate. It will flow from the way you carry yourself, the way you respond, the way you live. and even those who dislike you will not be able to deny the dignity of your presence. Remember, the Stoics didn't live for applause. They lived for truth, for virtue, for inner freedom. That is the path to lasting respect. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Tonight, pick one of these 10 lessons and practice it, just one. Tomorrow, choose another. Stack them, live them, repeat them. Over time, you won't need to demand respect. You will embody it. Because in the end, the greatest victory is not in crushing your enemies, but in mastering yourself. And that, as every warrior, Stoic or Saiyan, eventually learns, is the kind of strength no one can take away. Thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on Stoicism and Dragon Ball wisdom. And I'll see you in the next one.